Hello and welcome to HYCU's webinar on Get Back Up Right for Google Cloud. I'm Jim Freely from HYCU. In this 30-minute session, we'll discuss why organizations are wisely turning to Google Cloud to help modernize their infrastructure and how they're protecting that investment with data protection from HYCU. Our speakers today are Daniel Mudimbe, Global Partner Manager from Google, and Shiva Raja, Technical Solutions Architect from HYCU. I want to give you a bit of context for the topics we'll cover today. We'll start by reviewing growth trends in public cloud and why organizations are selecting Google Cloud to deliver best-in-class infrastructure and data services. We'll then take a look at some of the common myths out there about how data protection works in the cloud, as well as key factors you should consider when investing in a backup solution for Google Cloud. We'll then share an overview of HYCU Protege and how it delivers a purpose-built cloud-native solution for workloads in hybrid cloud environments. And finally, we'll wrap with info on how you can find out more. Before we begin, I want to remind you that your lines have been muted. If you want to ask a question, please do so through the question panel. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Daniel to get us started.
All right. Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Shiva. And thank you to the entire HYCU team for having us here. There are a couple of things, as Jim mentioned, that I wanted to mention, right, related to cloud market trends. And I think some of us have seen some of these slides before, but I think it's important to contextualize what they actually mean for us, right? So, we have primarily seen, very rapid growth in cloud adoption over the last few years. One of the things I like to point out is really looking at 2015 to 2020 levels versus what we are looking for the next 5 years, right? So the difference is dramatic. Roughly about $205 billion in the previous 5 years, so going 22 and back. But as we look forward, we're looking at almost 2x the growth at about $470 billion in the next 5 years versus 205 in the previous 5. And our general consensus is that that is extremely strong and likely to remain so, despite what we are likely to see from either inflationary headwinds or recessionary headwinds as well, right? So, the stickiness is still present and it is unlikely to change despite, sort of macro issues. And the reason are when you look at the primary drivers, those are still the same, if not more important than previously, right? So the rapid digital transformation across industries continue to accelerate, right? So COVID moved a lot of those projects 2 to 5 years ahead, and we're still seeing customers embarking on these transformation journeys. The need for new technology in a lot of instances, customers, even very sophisticated customers, banks, retail, manufacturer, don't have these capabilities in-house. So they are really leveraging the cloud. And this is, cloud native services, multi-cloud capabilities, data analytics, AI-driven processes. All these are driving cloud adoption at a level that is exceedingly higher than what we've seen in the past. And then really when you look at the landscape around the security requirements and the security needs, I think we've all read the news in terms of what we've seen from a trend around, a number of breaches, the safeguard or the proper safeguard of the data, leveraging modern data backup and recovery infrastructure is absolutely paramount, right? So if you take all these together, I think you can actually see why we believe that the cloud growth should remain strong and actually exceedingly stronger than the previous 5 years. So, within that environment, we as a company are continue to see that growth, right? 47% year-over-year growth from 20 to 2021 as well. We saw a 65% growth in deals above $1 billion. And, some of the advantages that our customers basically are seeing is, we're not just assisting customers in lift and shift, right? We are working with them as part of their data transformation, right? In terms of increasing their business requirements. So it's a little bit more than just, lift and shift, which, by the way, is extremely important, especially from a capital expenditure and from an OpEx standpoint. But we're going beyond that as a trusted partner, right? So from an advantage in terms of what we offer is, one, we're open, right? So we provide customers with really free free instances in terms of how and where they want to move their data, right? We continue to be a leader in AI and ML in terms of bringing those services and data insight to a lot of our customers. The sustainability aspect remains critically important, right? We've been carbon neutral since 2007, and we continue to be so, right? So the zero net carbon emission is extremely important to us. Security and security framework, providing services like encrypting data at rest and in transit kind of remains a core part of our security outlook. And then collaboration, right? Providing just, great collaboration suite to allow customers and partners to collaborate in real time across multiple geos, right? So these are critical tenets, and that explains really why we're seeing leading companies trust Google Cloud, right? And this is across every single critical vertical. So retail, biopharma, capital markets, we do extremely well in financial services, telco companies, industrial, M&A in terms of media, entertainment, automotive, logistics, so forth. It's extremely important. And, a lot of our customers look at what we do internally, right? So we run roughly around 9 properties, that have 1 billion users. So it's really extending that capability and infrastructure to our customers, knowing full well that they've seen how we've done that with our own set of properties. So that remains extremely important as well. One of the things that, we wanted to convey is how do we approach, backup, DR, services in terms of our own set of capabilities, right? We do offer the ability to do, disk snapshot across multiple region. We do offer a first-party product as well. But, more than ever, we allow customers to make their own decisions and choose which kind of solution they want to proceed with, right? And we have a robust and extensive partner ecosystem that is able to deliver sophisticated, backup and data protection services that customers can basically enjoy and take advantage of with Google Cloud specifically, right? And we've been working with HYCU for over the last three years or so in being able to provide that kind of choice to our customers and still enable those customers to use and leverage the efficiency, the high scalability of data centers managed by Google Cloud, right? And then we work with our partners to build, validated reference architecture to protect all the critical applications, but really have the proper design and workflow to ensure that whatever we build is actually sustainable and will extend the kind of services that our technology customers want to see, both internal and external as well. So that remains pretty important, and that's really our and it's been an effective route to market. One of the things that I wanted to bring Shiva and the HYCU team in the conversation is really around this notion, right? That if you're leveraging the cloud, you are or can abstain for providing data protection services. The fact of the matter is that is anything but the case and anything but true. So I wanted to give Shiva the opportunity to basically walk us through this common myth about data protection in cloud and really drill down around what HYCU is providing in relation to Google Cloud. So Shiva, great to see you, and I thought I'd give you the opportunity to sort of walk us through these myths and then really how the HYCU product works with Google Cloud as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Just a quick introduction. My name is Shiva Raj. I'm the Technical Solutions Architect at HYCU. Been with the company for more than close to 4 years now. So really happy to be here and talk about why is it a data protection solution becomes a core requirement, especially when you're running your workloads on Google Cloud or in the process of moving to Google Cloud. So let's start with the first point, right? Especially when it comes to folks who are already on Google Cloud or in the process of moving to Google Cloud, there is this notion that once the data is moved to the Google Cloud, their data is automatically protected. I mean, yes, in a certain way it is true, because Google Cloud does offer a level of data security in terms of encryption, and it also offers a limited set of high availability capabilities, but that in no way translates to a full-fledged backup and recovery solution. Because one of the core questions that customers need to ask themselves is like, what happens if there is an accidental deletion, or unforeseen data corruption, or users or applications or malware with malicious intent of corrupting or deleting the data, such as ransomware attacks or even unforeseen cloud outages, right? So how do you go about recovering your production data from such unforeseen circumstances? And for those, you really need a dedicated backup and recovery and data protection solution. Now, you also have a set of users who basically believe that, well, as previously pointed out, Google Cloud does offer its own native snapshots. And if customers have those snapshots, why do they really need a backup solution or backup as a service for Google Cloud? And the answer to that question is pretty simple. I mean, snapshots are good. At the end of the day, for any backup solution or a backup as a service, snapshots literally form the foundation of a holistic backup and recovery solution. But at the end of the day, snapshots alone don't deliver a total, complete, or a comprehensive backup and recovery solution. Because to begin with, if you're purely relying, or if you're over reliant on snapshots, you need to realize that these snapshots reside within your production environment, and having way too many snapshots can also become a less cost effective solution. They can prove to be more expensive in the long run. And in addition to that, when it comes to snapshots, the amount of recovery options you have just from snapshots is very limited. Like, what if you wanted to restore individual pieces of your applications, like databases, or if you wanted to recover individual files or folders on your Windows or on your Linux VMs. And in addition to that, maintaining these snapshots across multiple VMs can be an extremely painful task. I mean, if you're talking about just 4 or 5 VMs within your Google Cloud infrastructure, then fine, yeah, you can get away with snapshots. But what if you have like 50 or 100 or 500, 1,000 VMs, right? Maintaining the snapshots of these huge number of VMs could be an extremely strenuous task if you don't have a proper mechanism of managing and monitoring them. And in addition to that, snapshots by default are crash consistent. So what is it that you're going to need, or what kind of a solution do you have in the backend to achieve true application consistent snapshots? So the point is, or the bottom line is, snapshots are good. I mean, I'm not trying to ding them by any chance or anyway, but snapshots at the end of the day are just one of the pieces of providing yourself with a holistic backup and recovery solution. So the next point would be, okay, so you do have a lot of customers who are basically moving their workloads from their on-prem infrastructure to to Google Cloud, and why not just use their on-prem backup solution to protect their workloads on public cloud or on Google Cloud? Because they claim that they already support all of the workloads that are running on the Google Cloud environment. And the answer to that question is, not all solutions are Google Cloud ready at the end of the day. The reason is because you're carrying the same set of complexities that you had in your on-prem infrastructure to your Google Cloud infrastructure, meaning that you have to go through manually deploying your solutions, manually sizing these backup and recovery solutions, because when you're on cloud, you always are in a highly dynamic environment where your number of resources can expand or shrink based on your business needs at a given time. And your backup solution should also be able to scale up and down, right? In addition to that, there has to be a constant maintenance, or a set of understanding of how you go about upgrading your solution when a new version of that software comes in. So you're still going through a set of error-prone manual management of your backup and recovery solution on Google Cloud, which totally breaks the purpose of why you moved all of your workloads on Google Cloud on the first place. So these are some of the common myths we basically try to address before we try to introduce our solution or basically try to introduce what we do on a Google Cloud platform. So with that being said, I just wanted to get into the picture of who are the right set of customers, or who would basically need a better data protection on Google Cloud infrastructure. So I'd like to start with the customers who are basically evaluating or even like thinking about moving their workloads onto Google Cloud. And as we all know, Google Cloud has a lot of offerings, and it could be sometimes overwhelming for customers to know where they should begin with. And that is exactly where HYCU comes in, because HYCU can help these on-prem customers to step their toes or test the waters of Google Cloud by offering seamless backups of their on-prem infrastructure directly to GCS, to your Google Cloud Storage bucket. So we don't need any additional plugins. We don't need any additional agents. All it would take for you is to basically deploy our virtual appliance in your infrastructure. We can discover all of your on-prem infrastructure and offer fully agentless, plugin-less backups directly to GCS object storage in a fully auto-tiered fashion. So that's number one. Number two is, or the second set of customers are the ones who are basically have made up their minds to move to Google Cloud, but are in the process of migrating their workloads from their on-prem infrastructure to Google Cloud infrastructure. So in those cases, HYCU can actually help these customers to seamlessly lift and shift all of their on-prem workloads to Google Cloud infrastructure in an application consistent manner. Again, this entire migration process doesn't need any plugins, or it doesn't need any agents to be deployed on your Google Cloud infrastructure. It's fully seamless, and it's like a full-fledged end-to-end process. And last but not the least, this can also apply for customers who are already on Google Cloud. They're basically running their workloads natively on Google Cloud. This could be your GCE, your Google Compute Engine VMs, or your Google Compute Engine instances. This could also be your containers running within your GKE clusters, or it could be unstructured data running within your GCS buckets. So regardless of what your spectrum is with regards to running your workloads on, we can actually provide you a full-fledged single pane of glass for all of your workloads. So these are the set of customers, our applicable customers, that can think of our HYCU backup as a service on Google Cloud. So before I get into the detailed presentation, I just wanted to get into like one more of a food for thought, right? Especially when you're investing in a backup and recovery or a data protection solution for Google Cloud. I would highly recommend our audience to consider these questions. I mean, especially when you're investing in your backup and recovery solution. The questions are something like, do I have to manually deploy this solution, or do I have to manually configure or discover all of my workloads running within my Google Cloud infrastructure? Am I supposed to configure my users and set permissions? Or am I supposed to manually or evaluate the size of my environment and manually size my backup solution on a periodic basis, because my environment is subject to growth over a period of 6 months or 1 year, and based on that, am I supposed to have some upfront sizing requirements, right? And in addition to that, how do I basically reach out to customer support when I hit when I'm faced with issues? Or am I supposed to reach out to customer support when there are any maintenance or upgrades, right, of my backup solution? So if you're basically saying yes to any of these questions, then you're doing this wrong, right? Because this is not how cloud really works. At the end of the day, the whole concept of moving to the cloud is to basically get away from these kind of questions or these kind of considerations, right? So if you've basically gotten to or if you're basically moving to Google Cloud to get away from these scenarios, then why should your backup solution be any different, And that is the true question here, right? With that being said, let's get into what we deliver, right? Our solution is basically natively hosted within our Google Cloud infrastructure. It's basically it's purely offered as a service, and we offer a full-fledged, cloud scale architecture, meaning that it's not just about automated deployment, automated configuration, and discovery of all of your workloads that are running within your Google Cloud environment. It's also about sizing. I mean, it really doesn't matter how big or how small your environment is. We will be able to dynamically discover your environment and size our solution based on the size of your environment. So technically speaking, you can basically occupy literally every region within your Google Cloud infrastructure, and we will still be able to scale to the Google Cloud's limitless size. And that is the true advantage here. And the best part about our solution is we are literally available on Google Cloud Marketplace, and the billing for HYCU is basically a line item within the Google monthly billing. That is the true advantage here. So that's number one. Number two is our solution is fully application focused. We have the ability to automatically discover all of your workloads. I mean, case in point, we are the only solution in the market today that offer application consistent backups of SAP HANA using the Google Cloud's backend agent. We also have the ability to discover all of your containerized applications within your GKE cluster. And all of this discovery is fully automated. Again, you don't have to discover these applications manually, and we offer you full-fledged application consistent backups from start to finish, right? So that's number two. Number three is, this is pretty obvious at this point, right? I mean, the first 2 points in itself should basically say that our solution is truly Google Cloud native. But in addition to that, we are one of those solutions who not only use Google Cloud snapshots for application or crash consistent backups, we also deliver by fully integrating with your Google Cloud's identity access management. So all of the hard work that you have already done on Google Cloud by creating all these security policies, all of those IAM policies are automatically inherited by our solution, meaning that you don't have to reconfigure users or reconfigure their access within your HYCU backup solution. All of those permissions are automatically inherited, meaning that if I'm logging into my HYCU for Google Cloud infrastructure, I as an end user will only have access to VMs or to my containers or to my Google Cloud storage buckets that I'm authorized to view on my Google Cloud infrastructure. So literally, our solution looks like it was built from the ground up by the Google Cloud engineers. That's how intuitive our solution is. And the fourth point that I wanted to talk about is unparalleled backup security. Now, let's face it, guys. I mean, ransomware attacks have basically become the new norm. I mean, in this day and age, no organization is safe from ransomware attacks. It's not even a question of or a matter of if, it's simply a matter of when your organization is going to be impacted by such an attack, which basically means that if your organization is going to have such a crisis, are your backups truly secure? And that's exactly what we offer. We have the ability to truly isolate your backups from your production environment by performing these backups to a totally siloed project with isolated credentials that only has access to your backup solution, meaning that none of your production environment or none of your production users will be able to access these backups. Only the backup solution has active access to these backups. And we can also do backups directly to worm-enabled Google Cloud storage buckets, meaning that your backups are truly immutable. So it's not just about offering air gap backups, it's also about offering truly immutable backups. And the last point that I wanted to talk about is full-fledged cross-cloud mobility. I mean, I'm not just talking about moving your workloads within the regions of your Google Cloud. I'm also talking about moving your workloads from your on-prem infrastructure directly to Google Cloud infrastructure. So promoting a hybrid cloud infrastructure between your on-prem and your Google Cloud infrastructure has never been easier if you have HYCU in place, because there are so many iterations of your environment that are possible if you have HYCU in your environment. For instance, you can be a full-fledged on-prem customer, but you could make use of Google Cloud as a suitable DR target. Or if you're a customer who is willing to run a certain set of workloads in your on-prem infrastructure and a certain set of workloads in your Google Cloud infrastructure, yes, we can still do that. Or if you're a customer who are fully on Google Cloud and you would basically, you would like to have a certain region treated as a DR target within the Google Cloud infrastructure, yes, HYCU can deliver that as well, because we offer a full-scale mobility of all of your workloads, regardless of where your workloads reside. Could be on Google Cloud or on your on-prem infrastructure. So with that being said, I just wanted to showcase a quick architectural overview of how our solution looks like. So to begin with, if you're like to start with, I mean, I'd like to start with customers who are already on Google Cloud. If you basically would like to subscribe to our solution, all you would have to do is basically go to the Google Cloud Marketplace, search for our solution and hit the subscribe button. And that's pretty much about it. The entire solution gets automatically deployed within your environment, and we would automatically provision a backup server. And that specific server has the ability to directly integrate with your Google Cloud's identity access management and inherit all of the security policies based on what you've defined within your subscription. And from there, we will be able to automatically discover all of your workloads. As I mentioned before, we can discover all of your Google Cloud or GCE instances and the applications running within your GCE instances. We can discover all of your containerized applications within your GKE cluster, and we can also discover all of your buckets within your GCS. And once all of this is discovered, it's totally up to you about what resources need to be backed up, and we can automatically back all of these resources to your preferred GCS bucket with full auto tiering capability, meaning that if you want to do your backups to a specific tier, we could do that to standard, nearline, and cold line. And if you wanted to move these backups to an archive tier at a certain period of time, you could simply define them within your retentions, your tier retention settings, and HYCU will automatically honor that. And in addition to that, if you have an on-prem infrastructure, it's even easier, because it doesn't matter what kind of on-prem infrastructure you have, a VMware, physical servers, or even Nutanix environment, all you would have to do is simply deploy a virtual appliance within your on-prem infrastructure, discover all of your on-prem resources, and simply point it to your GCS bucket. And that basically provides you the ability to, back up all of your resources directly to GCS storage with the same level of auto tiering. And here's the best part. All of the on-prem backups that have been done to your GCS buckets are fully capable to be migrated to your Google Cloud infrastructure. So it's basically a nice side effect where it's not just about doing backups directly to your Google Cloud infrastructure, but also leveraging your Google Cloud infrastructure as a suitable failover or even a migration target. So to summarize, I'd like to showcase what the true differentiators of HYCU are compared to any of our competitors who support Google Cloud. Is we truly offer our solution, purely as a service, meaning that you as an end user don't have to deploy, plan, or install, or configure, or even worry about maintenance or upgrades, because since we are delivering our solution purely as a service, everything is fully automated. And in that process, you don't even have to worry about sizing, because our solution has the ability to expand or shrink based on your environment size. We are fully native to your Google Cloud technology, meaning that we not only have the ability to integrate with your snapshotting technology for application consistency or crash consistency, but we also have the ability to integrate directly with Google Cloud's identity access management for full-fledged inheritance of Google Cloud security policies. In addition to that, we are 100% agentless. You don't have to worry about deploying agents or plugins like in your on-prem or in your cloud infrastructure. Everything is fully automated, and it's fully agentless, meaning that the amount of time it takes for you to deploy and manage these agents are it's nil, because it doesn't exist in our technology. And in addition to that, we truly offer 100% backup security in terms of air gap backups, meaning that your backups are truly fortified even from your production environment, so that if your production environment is compromised, your backups are still safe. And in addition to that, as a last line of defense, we also offer immutable backups by performing these backups to worm-enabled Google Cloud storage buckets. And last but not the least, the ability to have this one-click functionality to easily migrate or clone your workloads from on-prem to cloud or within the different regions within the same Google Cloud infrastructure is a true boon for our customers, because with HYCU, you truly have the ability to make your workloads mobile from on-prem to Google Cloud or across multiple regions within your Google Cloud infrastructure. So with that being said, I'd like to, that's pretty much what I had from my end, and I'd like to pass it back to Jim.
Yeah, so we're up against time here, but I think we can get to a couple questions that have come in on the question panel. So first one, what's the advantage of buying HYCU through the Google Marketplace?
It's simple, right? I mean, especially when you're buying it through Google Cloud Marketplace, the amount of time it takes for you to deploy your solution is extremely simple and straightforward, because all you would have to do is just get to Google Cloud Marketplace, search for our solution, and click on the subscribe button. So it's instantaneous. And in addition to that, when you subscribe our solution through Google Cloud Marketplace, the monthly bill of HYCU is a simple line item within your Google monthly bill, meaning that the entire financials or billing process is simplified. And in addition to that, this also gives you the flexibility of using your Google credits, especially when you want to use it for HYCU.
Yeah, I mean, I think then that last part is super critical. If you're a customer with an existing agreement or an existing commit with Google Cloud, you can leverage a partner solution to actually burn down that actual commit dollar for dollar. So that's critical, and I think a lot of customers like that. And then, of course, it's seamless. You get a single bill, very easy to manage. And we're seeing, obviously, a lot of customers purchase cloud services through the marketplace because of those reasons.
Makes sense. And I think we can squeeze one more in here, just being mindful of time. How fast or easy is it to make your backup solution production ready?
It's instantaneous, as I pointed out before, because the entire process of, the number of steps that are involved when it comes to deploying your Google Cloud, your HYCU on your Google Cloud infrastructure is basically, it comes down to just one click. Simply clicking on the subscribe button, right? Because the entire process of provisioning a server, discovering your environment, or configuring any users, which is fully inherited from your Google Cloud subscription, is fully automated in the backend, right? So it's basically going to come down to deploying the entire environment within a matter of 30 minutes to an hour, making it production ready. And most of our customers and even prospects who are basically doing a POC with our solution, they have two common feedbacks. Number one is how ridiculously easy it is for them to deploy our solution and make it production ready. And number two is the level of support that we provide them, because our customer support is purely fully proactive. We reach out to customers if there are any issues with their backups or restores, and we also notify them when there are any maintenance or upgrade windows.
Makes sense. Well, I think we will have to leave it there. But before we go, again, as you see on screen here, if you'd like to get a demo, you can go out to tryhycu.com, or if you have questions for either speakers, their emails are right there on screen. So with that, Daniel and Shiva, thank you for sharing those insights, and thank you to our audience for joining us today. Hopefully you gained some key takeaways that you can put into practice, and we hope to see you on a future HYCU webinar. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, team.